Oh my gosh, my hair. Hello, Facebook community. Sorry about that. Um, Today is Thursday, time for another Facebook Live. So I do appreciate you guys, whoever's on live. And then for anyone who's new on here, I do welcome you. Thank you for being in the group. And if you catch this live, I do ask that you hashtag live. And then if you catch this on a replay, I do ask that you hashtag replay. That just helps to know who's all here. And also, if you have any questions, please let StreamYard have access to your account if you would like me to see your name. I do come back to the questions as they come in. If not, I will address it afterwards, okay? So once again, I do appreciate anyone who's on. We will be starting shortly. I do have the honor of having our guest who is from Premier Catering. That is one of her catering is one of her business, and then she's also part of PIK2AR. But I will let her explain what she's doing out in Utah. Okay, just give me a second. Let me see where she is. Hang on. So when Susie is ready, she will be on shortly, okay? Anyways, it's been a couple weeks. I appreciate you guys hanging in there. I will be back on my regular schedule for Facebook next week Thursday, and I will be running through just regular training like I did previously. I know life is tough for everyone I had to go through graduation season. Then there's also funerals, there's birthdays. So life just keeps going, right? Anyways, thank you for your patience. Like I said, just waiting on our guest. Hopefully she's able to get on shortly. Hang on, guys. Thank you for your patience, anyone. And if you hashtag live, thank you. Like I said, I can't see your name until after, unless you want to give StreamYard access to your account so they can see you on. Okay. Recent in Facebook Messenger. Sorry, guys. Just waiting for our special guest to come on. Like I was stating earlier, this is our interview time where I interview a Polynesian business owner or entrepreneur. And then that way, hopefully it does inspire you. If you want more information on exactly what she's doing in the Polynesian community, hopefully it does inspire you, and you're able to get more information, okay? Our guest is located in Utah. There is a big Polynesian community out there, and they are just thriving and doing really big things as far as business is concerned. I try to promote as many businesses as I can, just to help you start thinking about doing something yourself. I mean, if you've never thought about being in business for yourself, hopefully these business owners that come on at least once a month, I do have a guest on, that it does, help you to start thinking about that or that route, right? Anyways, sorry I can't see your name. Way to go. Keep hustling and grinding. Thank you. Like I said, I'm sorry I can't see your name right now. But yeah, like I was saying, I do appreciate anyone who's on. Please hashtag live or replay if you catch this later. We have another comment coming in. Utah's Polynesian community is full of movers and shakers. Yeah, completely. All right. We got her. Thank you for joining. Can you hear okay?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Awesome. So I did just give a little brief introduction about you, but I like for our guests to introduce yourself, and then also if you can let us know something that we don't know about you or that no one knows about you. I'd like to have that as our opening. So
Sure. And thank you so much for having me this evening. I really appreciate the opportunity just to share and to connect. But my name is Susi Feltch-Malohifou'ou. I was born in Tonga, adopted when I was 3 years old to a Palangi family, and raised in Vernal, Utah, which is a small oil town in eastern Utah. When I was about 12 years old, we moved back to the United States, but I'd lived in Tonga, and then my dad worked in New Zealand as well. He worked for the LDS Church, and so he managed the coconut plantation in Tonga, Tonga Tapu by Liahona High School. For those of you that are familiar with LDS Church and the school in Tonga, and then worked and managed the LDS Church's sheep farm in Tonga. And then my older brothers and sisters were all in college, and so I'm the youngest, and so then we moved back to Vernal, Utah. So I didn't really know Pacific Islanders until I went to college. I didn't really meet any until I went to college, which was very interesting. And I would say something that people don't know about me. Um, I always say a couple of things. I don't know on this podcast and who listens, but I think one of the accomplishments that I'm probably really proud of, is that last year I was um, I was nominated and selected as one of Forbes magazine's 50 over 50 women for impact. And I was really shocked that I would even be picked for something like that. You know, Forbes magazine is a magazine that so many people all over the world look up to, and
oh, of
to
course.
be there,
Mhm.
I was so shocked that I was even selected out of all of the thousands of women that probably were nominated. But I think
Right.
that tells you where our community is going, and that we can achieve opportunities. And other than that, I would say the thing that most people don't know about me is I won the blue ribbon in the Uinta County State Fair for baking powder biscuits and for radish flowers. If
Wow.
you know me now, I am not domesticated by any means. I don't really even cook, but so I always laugh. People say, "Really, you won for a blue ribbon in a county fair?" So yeah, that would be what
Nice.
I would share that
That's
people don't know about me.
amazing. That is so amazing, Susie. Like, congratulations and kudos
Oh,
to
thanks.
you. You know what I mean? I'm I'm honored to have you on here. Like, I don't know you, right?
Yeah.
We've only met through social media,
Right.
but I knew that I had to ask you to come on
Oh,
because just because you are pro-Polynesian, right?
yeah.
That is a new word that I learned from you. So I'm using it as much as I can because that's what we are, right? We are pro Polynesian for our people. And we do want to
Yes.
see the advancement of our people, especially now. Um, for me, honestly, I feel like it is our time. You know, it is our time. We are more mainstream now. There's a lot more of us islanders out here from the South Pacific. And so I just feel a need of unity so we can really advance our community forward. And so that's why it was so important. It's so important for me to have this time during in the month, just to have special guests on like you and other Polynesian business owners, just to, kind of get a Q&A and see what you're doing, all the amazing things that you're doing in Utah, which happens to be a lot of growth, a lot of movement. A lot of Polynesians are moving that way and have left California and other states to come out there. And so I wanted to ask you just a couple, of course, questions. Hope you don't mind.
Not at all.
And yeah, so are you still with Premier Catering? How is I know that was one of the businesses. Are you still conducting that business?
Yeah, we started. I mean, slowly but surely, the COVID really made a difference. We had a kitchen, but yeah, we now have a food truck, and we're trying to figure out how do we reinvent ourselves, right?
Right, right,
Um, Anybody that was doing food business, this was actually a project of my husband's. Like I said, I am not a cook, and so because we do a lot of catering and a lot of food functions at our nonprofit and at PIK2AR, it seemed like a really good fit. So yeah, we are little by little. It's
okay.
Yeah, we're definitely resetting and reinventing the wheel, and how, because we used to have a kitchen, now we moved to a food truck model. And I think that's the name of game in business and in ourselves, is reinventing ourselves.
Mhm.
Getting that Forbes magazine over 50. I mean, I'm
Ah, we
but
lost her.
oh,
Okay, there you go.
I don't know what happened there, but yeah, like I'm turning 60 this year. Is the name of the game is to reinvent yourself, stay
Yeah,
relevant, right?
right,
We
right.
can't do the same things in the same way that we did,
Mhm.
if we really want the most success that we can have in our businesses and in our projects that we do.
Right. Well, that's awesome. Yes, I know that COVID hit all of the, all of the businesses, especially the storefronts. Um, so I commend you for that. I noticed that the route to go is either a drive-through, right?
Yeah,
Adding that onto your business or going the food truck route, which
yeah,
seems like there are more and more Polynesian owners that are really doing that route. So I'm, of course, happy about that you're able to maintain,
yeah, yeah.
and maintaining was like the whole concept, right? Just maintaining throughout the whole thing. So, and it's good to know that your business is still flourishing, right?
Yeah,
But
I mean, it's been tough. Any food business during COVID, it has been a tough road. Many businesses have closed down. And I think just changing the model that we use and reinventing, and that's the name of the game. I think, in whether it's corporate America, small business, nonprofit, is staying relevant
right,
to the work that we do.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I just have a few questions
Yeah.
about your catering business, and then we'll move on to
Yeah.
the main enchilada, right? Because I know you're doing big things with your other business. So, anyways, as far as your catering, what is your menu, and how did you come up with that?
So we're just a little bit different than I would think, like main catering. So what this the whole reason, it's a social enterprise. What we do is when we get a catering order, and like right now we are the catering company for a specific organization. We come up with the menus, but we contract that work out to our Pacific Island food vendors.
Oh, okay.
No reason for us to cook. If we can help another Pacific Island business and they're already doing that, why don't we buy from them?
Right. Ah, connection's not good.
There we go. That
You're back on.
we just buy from our and help those that are in our community. And so we will give them the first option if somebody wants to cater it, and then we'll just keep a little bit of the money, and we give the money to the community business. And
Got
like I said, it's a social enterprise with a little bit different of a twist, is that we're not actually cooking food. You can use our food truck. We will help in whatever way that you want to. But our mainstay was, how do we use this business to help others? And so
nice.
that's what we do, is we then go out to our vendors that are Pacific Island owned businesses and say, this is the menu we have. Who does this already? Who wants to do it? Who can do it within this budget? And then they provide the food, and then we
Okay.
provide the catering.
Nice. I like that approach.
Yeah. A
Yeah,
little
and
bit
that
different.
yeah, but you know what? That's a win-win situation for everyone involved,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
so the more win-wins, the better off the overall, success is there.
Right. Yeah.
So that's awesome. I did not know that. I thought that maybe you guys were the full-on restaurant style
Oh no, we
situation.
used to be. We used to
Oh,
be, and
okay.
and what one of our programs was to, because food business is one of the largest. We're one of the largest food businesses, is the industries that we work in. And so what we realized, when many people were coming to the Chamber of Commerce asking for resources of how to learn to be a food vendor, to learn how to have a restaurant. And so we thought, well, maybe we should teach that. And so we started a little cohort of businesses that would come meet once a month, and we would bring resources of financial resources, how to run a business better, besides chefs that would come in and say, how do you make things gluten, how do you do this, to give our food vendors the opportunity. And many of these were coming out of their homes, um, and how do they scale up, you know.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
very small businesses, we may have like a company that does just panipopo, and then we even help them along the way. So we realized that this would be another opportunity to give our vendors,
Right.
for them to learn. So you can start by just making the food, but then if you want to start catering, we'll phase ourselves out and
Right.
we'll contract it to you, and you can do start to finish. So
Nice.
that really was why this business dropped in our lap. Be through the Chamber of Commerce, we had a Hispanic man that we had mentored through this business. He got COVID, was in the hospital with ICU, and then he said that he was going to close his business. And we said, wow, you've worked so hard on this. Why don't
Right.
you let us step in and hold space for you while you're getting better? And then you can come back, because you worked so hard for that. And when he came back, he had COVID fog. And so then he said, why don't I give you my business and you employ me as the chef? So I was like,
Nice.
okay. I said, our vision is to help our community be better at being food vendors and scaling their businesses. And he said, oh, I'd love to help. And so he would teach some of our classes. Um, and, somebody wants to take Coco Samoa and make it into chocolate. And so, yeah, that's how it's just evolved to a social enterprise on purpose. Did we start
Right.
out that way? Yeah.
Nice. Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I have not heard of another Polynesian doing that. I mean, I know, scaling your business and, doing contracting out work, but, for catering, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, definitely. So for those of you who are on here watching live, I do appreciate you guys being on here. Hopefully, you are able to learn a little bit more about Susie and her businesses and what she's doing out in Utah. And then I do want to share the Chamber of Commerce that you had. That is super awesome and interesting to me. When I did stumble across that, your PIK2AR, I'll let you explain the meaning behind that. How did you come up with that name? And exactly, how long have you guys been up and running?
So we're going into our 8th year of being a 501c3 nonprofit. We'd been doing it 1 or 2 years before, until we got serious about organizing. So PIK2AR stands for Pacific Island Knowledge to Action. What I recognized when I came to Utah was a lot of things that were going on were workshops, but those workshops don't count unless people take it and use them. If it's not empowering people to move themselves forward and to progress, then I think it's a waste of time,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
And so I wanted to do something. It was my husband started. He started Kava Talks, which stands for Knowledge Above Violence Always. I am a survivor
Nice.
of domestic violence and sexual assault. My first husband lived in Utah. I was moving back, marrying another husband when my first abuser lived here, and I needed support. And so I couldn't find a domestic violence group support for Pacific Islanders.
Right.
Now, I had lived in Utah 30 years ago, and in 30 years, there were no services. That really surprised me. where was our community around violence prevention and intervention and healing? And so I searched. There was a national Asian American Pacific Island domestic violence conference going on in San Francisco. So my husband and I went. And he comes back from one of the workshops and says, women are smarter than men. And I said, oh, that's why I married you, because you know that. And he said, women cannot solve domestic violence without the men being involved.
Right.
Men have to hold themselves accountable and other men accountable. For
Absolutely.
you women can do this for many, many years, but you're not the one that are the abusers.
Right.
The
Because I
men are the higher number of abusers. So until we start working with the men, and I was like, okay, so what's your idea? He said, well, these things I'm learning, I'm gonna go to the kava kalapus and talk to them about violence. I was like, you don't even drink kava. He's like, yeah, I know, but that's the place. I'm gonna go talk to men, and these things that I've learned about violence and the power and control wheel and what does violence mean, I want to teach our men, and to say, like, start the conversation. Do we like what's going on in our community? And if we don't like it, what are
Oh, sorry guys.
oh
You got
no, sorry, I don't know if it's my phone or something. So what are we
think
going to
someone's trying to
do?
get a hold of you. I said someone's trying to get a hold of you.
um, so the so he, I was like, oh, so what do you want to do? He said, I'm going to go back and do this. So he came right back from San Francisco, and he got 7 Tongan men certified as Utah domestic violence advocates. They were the first men's group to be certified,
Really?
yep, as domestic violence advocates. And off they went. And they started going around and talking. So that was our very first program.
What
And
was
he
that one
started,
called? Was there
huh?
a was a name to that program?
Yeah, it's called Kava Talks.
Oh, Kava Talks. Gotcha.
Kava Talks, but it stands for Knowledge Above Violence Always.
Gotcha.
And so
Cool.
now, if you fast forward in 7 years, it is an online men's support group that meets every Thursday night at 6
Online.
p.m. And now we're court ordered. We can provide court ordered um, domestic violence for Pacific Islanders.
Nice. So that would count. The class would count
Yes.
towards anything in court. Okay.
Yes. So their
Awesome.
PO or their judge will then refer them to us.
Hmm.
And then we do it in Tongan and in English every Thursday night.
Heck yeah.
So
That's
we do that on
awesome.
Thursday, and then on Tuesdays we do gogi. Gogi stands for going out, going out by going in. It's a prison program,
Oh, okay. Is that what it's
and
called in prison?
it's called gogi. And
Go.
yeah, GOGI, getting out by going in. And
I
it
like that.
And how that happened was we had a young Tongan man show up at Kava Talks. We used to meet in person, and he was so well spoken and he could facilitate a group. And I asked him, where did you learn how to do this? And he said, in prison. He said, I just did 2 stints of prison, but I'm not going back. He said, I learned Gogi. And I said, well, tell me about Gogi. And he said, it's positive decision making skills. And in order to be a coach in prison, you have to write, you have to, it takes about 5 years to be a coach. You have to facilitate groups. And he was so well spoken and could facilitate. And I
Nice.
thought, wow, I'm really impressed with him. And so I called up the person that founded Gogi, and I said to her, hey, can we do a community group? Because I think these skills that you have and these tools that you teach are so easily understood and can be adapted to your life. This isn't just for people that have been to prison.
Right.
Like, like the first one is Boss of My Brain, that and one of them is belly breathing, teaching yourself how to belly breathe.
Nice. Yes.
And so they have these tools. The tools were written by incarcerated people that came up with these tools that would have helped them not end up in prison.
Right.
What did they need? What were they missing in their life?
Mhm.
And so we do Gogi on Tuesday nights online. We invite anybody to come, male, female. We have families of friends or family members of people that are incarcerated, because as the incarcerated starts to change their vocabulary, change
Right.
their lifestyle, their family members need to keep up with that,
Yeah.
or when
Absolutely.
they get out, they cannot
Yeah.
be supported. So I called the founder up. She tells me no. She tells me this is a prison program and they don't do anything in the community. And I'm like, lady, you're dumb. Like, you should let us do it, right? And
Yeah.
then 2 years
Absolutely.
ago, she called and she said, I had a long thought about what you said, is that the guys that are getting out of prison aren't supported in the community. And I
Mhm.
think you're right. Would you like to start our first community power up group? I said, yes, we would. And the
Awesome.
idea was supposed to be only for Pacific Islanders, but it's ended up we have all kinds of people, Pacific Islanders, all nationalities, all different places. But the one thing I liked about Gogi is they have zero recidivation. None of their coaches have gone back to prison.
Nice.
There is not a prison
Awesome.
program out there that can say that.
You're right. Absolutely. So
And
yeah,
our
that
numbers,
works.
our numbers in the prison system are growing. We have to do something to
Absolutely.
provide services and coping skills for our men to make better choices.
Absolutely. Is that part of the Chamber of Commerce? Is that one of
Nope,
the
it's
programs in there?
nope, not in the chamber. So I'll back up here. So PIK2AR has three focuses. Our
Okay.
first our first program is called Empowering Living Services, and that's where Gogi sits. That's where Kava Talk. It's anything that is case management, um, social determinants, so that we have case managers and community health workers. Last year, we serviced, in that program alone, we serviced 748 families. We distributed back $500,000 back into our community with rental assistance, COVID funding, and domestic violence funding.
And
And
that was
so
just for Pacific Islanders, or was that
it
open to
actually,
everyone?
we served as many non-Pacific Islanders as we did Pacific Islanders.
Wow.
So we
Why do you think?
provide
Why do you
no
think that
barrier
is?
services. What?
Yeah. Why do you think that is? Um, so I was going to ask you, why do you think that is? Seeing, oh, someone is trying to get a hold of you real bad.
There we
Susie.
go. Sorry.
No, it's
I'm
all
trying
right.
to tell you, like, don't text me. Don't. What are you calling me for?
I know. They're probably on you. Why do you think that happened? I know you said originally it was for Pacific Islanders, and then you started with other, communities and races and whatnot. Why do you think it's our people are not taking advantage of these services through your Chamber of Commerce?
Um, I mean, I think there's a lot of reasons. So ELS is our one program that houses all of our social determinants, and then our second program is the Chamber of Commerce, right? With
Mhm.
microlending, networking opportunities, etc. And then our third one is arts. PIK2AR. It's Pacifica Enriching Arts of Utah. We naturally are performers, artists,
Right,
visual artists. And so here in Utah, the stereotype when I moved here was we either are gangsters or football players.
right,
And I thought that's really unfair to us. So I felt like the arts and humanities was a good place to ground um, this program in. It encompasses history, it encompasses language, it encompasses all of these strengths that we have. And
right,
so I felt like if we work on our strengths and focus on our strengths, the negative things will automatically go away. So
right.
your
And that's
question is, across the board, is why don't people come and get the services? Right?
right,
Why don't
right.
Pacific Islanders? And I would say that for the Chamber of Commerce, you have to go. I've kind of like looked at this. First of all, when we come from the islands, entrepreneurship was something that we already knew. That's all we knew. Somebody grows crops, takes it
Right,
to market, and sells it. That's entrepreneurship.
right,
But for some reason, I think when we come to America or we feel like we've made it. we try to do away with all of the things that we had in the islands, because to many it looked like, I've come to America, I don't need to do those same things,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
And so if you look at entrepreneurship, I always say, in America, wealth building is buying a home and having a business.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like in our community, it's like entrepreneurship is something that working for a company is better than being you're working for yourself. And I
Right.
keep saying, but you're just making somebody else rich,
Right. Absolutely.
right?
100%. Right.
So you should be working for yourself. That's
Mm-hmm.
how you build wealth in this country.
Absolutely. And you know what? The the families that run the world are huge families. It's a not, employees. It's not, students. It's not anything else. It's a families. And
Yeah,
so you're absolutely right. Because when I think about it, my dad, when he migrated here, he ran taxis back in the island. When he
yeah,
came out here at first, he did lawn service.
yeah,
So he
yeah.
was working for himself,
Hmm.
but then gradually he went to the airport, you
Yeah,
know, and then he stayed. But that entrepreneurship, it died, it ended, you
yeah.
know?
Because for
So,
some reason, in our many of our peoples in our community, their thought is, we don't have to do those things anymore because we made it. We're in America. We're
mhm,
privileged now. And I'm going to say, not only in business, but I want you to think about these other areas. Walking to school, walking, because we have cars now.
right.
And so no, you see a Polynesian walking, and the first thought is like, oh, I feel sorry for them.
Yeah, they
How
don't
about
have,
that they want to
yeah,
walk?
right. What if they want to walk, right? Or
Right.
they have a car?
And just because their kids are walking to school does not mean that you're less than, or that it's a deficit. How
Yeah.
about that it's okay that kids walk to school and
Yeah.
get the
I mean,
exercise?
well, I grew up walking. I walked
Yeah,
a mile to school every day. It was nothing.
but
But yeah,
we look at that as coming to America gave us a vehicle,
right,
right? And that has hurt us in our physical health,
right,
because we're not doing the physical things that we had to do to live in the islands. The other area that I think this also is affecting is the lack of recycling and resources. But in the islands, they're great recyclers,
right.
right? But how
Mhm.
come all of a sudden in America we just here to waste, throw food away, keep the water on? Like, that's something
The
just
light
because we
on,
came
keep the light
here.
on.
Yeah. And so I looked at all of these things, and I realized that in my own mind, this is what I came up with, is somewhere along the line there was this idea that we don't have to do those things anymore, or those things are less than us, because
Right.
those are the things we did in the islands, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And but you know what? Also, is back home in the islands, um, the younger generation doesn't. They don't want to till the land. They don't want to, harvest and grow like their parents did, because now everyone has a phone out there, and so
Yep.
now they're looking at what everyone's doing out here,
Mhm.
and it's, yeah, we got to bring that back for sure.
And then
Absolutely.
that's what I looked at all of these issues. I think that it's deeper. It's deeper because it is something within our structure of our idea that when we made it to America, right? That we that gives us, we don't have to walk anymore. We can eat whatever we want to, and we got McDonald's every, and I'm going to feed my kids McDonald's because I didn't have it when I was growing
Right.
up.
Yeah.
And we're hindering ourselves,
Yeah.
because if we just went back to the way our ancestors lived and realized that they
Mhm.
had value. And I
Yeah.
say this a lot, our ancestors were the best navigators of the oceans.
Oh
But
yeah.
now we need to be the best navigators of systems,
Right.
right?
Absolutely.
And think
Absolutely.
about that, our ancestors were very smart people. I mean, I always say this, and when it comes to business, Look at us now. Coconut oil comes from our community, and here we are going and buying it from doTERRA. Really?
Well,
Why
yeah,
didn't
I
we
mean, all
why
of the
didn't we
remedies,
couldn't monetize that ourselves? We
right?
had to wait for somebody else when that is our practice.
Right. I mean, look at the noni.
Yes,
Look at all
noni.
of the other stuff that they're using now. I mean, even Gava. I mean, I'm going
Yes,
to these Gava clubs, and they're owned by white people.
non-Polynesians.
Right, non-Polynesians. Do you know
Yeah,
how weird that is? That
weird.
is so weird. Yeah,
Like
like
you should. This is not your space. You should be
right,
out. This is our space. But the
right,
problem is, we don't have anybody to fill that space.
right. And we don't have enough. Just we just need to come together. We just need to be a part of your Chamber of Commerce and just be part of these pro-Polynesian movements because
Yes.
it is ours,
Yeah.
ours to claim. And
Yes.
we have so many God-given rights. I mean, gosh darn. I mean, we can go on and on, but I'm so glad that you're on and you're, sharing what you guys do because it's amazing. We need it. And with Utah just becoming so populated with Polynesians, they need to know where to go,
Yeah.
where to
Yeah.
go to find these resources.
And for some reason in our culture, vulnerability is not a strength of ours. We got mad pride. We got mad egos, right? And I
Very.
always say this, closed mouths don't get fed.
Never,
If you
never.
don't understand something and you need a resource, open your mouth.
Right. Raise
Raise
your
your
hand.
hand.
Yes, but we're not good
Somebody will
at
help
that.
you.
Right. And so
Right?
that is a barrier that our
Yes.
people need to overcome because I know it's true. I mean, I was once there. The shy
Yes.
one in the back doesn't want to ask questions, but yet you still don't know. It's
Yeah.
like, so yeah, somehow we need to get
Because in our culture, it seems that showing weakness is a negative,
right.
right? You are
Right.
a warrior, you are tough on the exterior, but
Yeah.
that has hurt us because we don't discuss things. We
Right.
don't know how to communicate. We know how to
Right.
fist fight,
Yeah.
we know how to argue, but do we
Yeah.
really know how to resolve problems in a with a solution based view? Or what, we just gonna like beat each other up,
Yeah. No, we
right?
can't. Right.
We
Yeah. Because
can't do that.
we can't live by that stereotype.
No.
That is not, who we are now, even
Yes.
though we can all, we naturally can get down and get to fighting and acting crazy, but that is not what we should be known for, right? I mean,
Well, and
should
and
not.
honestly, that is not our DNA. That is not our history. We only fought for our country, for our village, for our family.
Right.
We didn't just go around hitting people over their heads with, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
it was out of protection.
Mhm.
But nowadays, we've been labeled as this violent community, and we're really not by
Yeah.
any means. We're not that way. But
No.
we somehow we
We
you
got
say a lie
stereotypes.
enough and people start to believe it.
Oh, of course. I mean, that's with anything, right? That's with
Right.
anything.
And
Um,
so,
yeah.
yeah, that's the Chamber of Commerce. I mean, I'm just, the micro lending loans that we are able to facilitate, the grants we've been able to facilitate. I am going to share with you that our national partner, our National Asian American Pacific Island Chamber of Commerce and entrepreneurship that we are part of, we are about to announce the grants that are coming out for food vendors and for different businesses. There were probably 13 or 18 businesses here in the state of Utah that um,
That applied?
that that got grants between 5,000 and 25,000. But there were three grand prize winners last year in October, and one of them was a Samoan couple that owned a restaurant in Washington State, and they got 100,000.
Really? By just
Yeah,
applying?
yeah, it's just applying.
Nice.
So we will be rolling that out. And we want
Cool.
all Pacific Islanders to participate in
Right.
these grants. And I know a lot of people like it that I'll never get picked. I'm like, well, you'll never get picked if you don't try.
Right. Yeah. I mean, what would be some of the requirements? I mean, not all of them, but just like basic
That
requirements
you,
to.
I mean, they're very easy requirements.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I mean, yeah, everything we do, because this is for our community. It needs to be culturally relevant. And so I
Right.
think it was like, well, one pager, tell your story. Um,
Okay.
you didn't even have to be profitable, right? You don't
Really?
have to turn in financials. You don't have to turn in any of that, because that is a deterrent for us. So if you truly want to help an underserved community get the access to the money, then you have to make it easy for us.
Right. Right. Okay. So yeah, that is the barrier. So basically, you are.
Yes.
Yeah, you're
We
making it easy.
really try to take the barriers. We always say we provide no barrier services. We don't want
Right.
you to jump in a box
Yeah.
and then we'll help you. Too many
Nice.
of those services are like that in our communities.
Right.
And so that was one of the things when we started PIK2AR was, how do we provide no barrier service? So anybody that comes to it, the answer is yes, we will help you. We may not have the resources and know, but we will walk with you to find it.
Nice. That's awesome. I think I need
Yeah.
to look up your chamber just for
Yeah,
me.
come on. Yeah, yeah, we've been doing this for a while, and I think the few years ago we did a directory for our ad. So we're in August. It's Pacific Island Heritage Month here, and we do an annual business awards luncheon. And
Okay.
2 years ago we printed a directory. We had 200 plus Pacific Island businesses in that directory
In Utah?
in Utah. So
Nice.
we have 682 Pacific Island owned businesses here in the state of Utah.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Are they all part of your chamber or
No,
no?
they're not. They're
Okay.
not part.
Is that
Um,
how did you get those statistics?
from the our state um, GOED, which is our government. What does GOED stand for? Economic
Well,
Development.
oh, okay. Was it a survey? Just
Yeah,
like
I think, from when people sign up for a business and get
right.
certified as a business, there is
Mhm.
a place that you can put your ethnicity.
Oh, okay,
And so
gotcha.
they probably pulled it from there. So it was like
Right.
682 Pacific Island owned businesses are in Utah.
Nice. So that might come from the census or something like that too.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
gathering that information.
Actually, I think it did come from the census now that you're saying that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I did not know that were so many business out there of
Well, I think
Polynesian food.
overall in America, we have hundreds of thousands of businesses that are owned by Pacific Islanders.
Right. That is awesome. I did not know that. Did not know
So
that at
that
all.
was the idea, was to get this directory, because the first thing we wanted to teach here at the chamber was to learn to buy from each other. Why are we going and buying things from
Right.
other people, even if you have to pay a little bit more?
Right. Just supporting our
Support each other.
people. Right. Absolutely.
So part of our
Absolutely.
Chamber of Commerce was to gather businesses together so we know who to buy from.
Right.
We don't know who to buy from if we
Yeah.
don't gather and we have this directory and we start networking with each other so we can support each other.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because honestly, when it comes down to it and we need, we have a party, we have a function, we're thinking, okay, who can make that? Who can make
Yeah,
that for her? I
yes,
mean, even me out here, like I'm like, geez, who do I have? Who do I
yeah.
turn to? You know?
I mean, and our goal was when we started the Chamber of Commerce is, how many times can we make a dollar flip in our community? Right? So
Right.
let's say somebody that works for our organization, we're a Pacific Island owned business. You get your paycheck. Do you go buy your food from a Polynesian store? So that just moved twice, right? The
Right.
paycheck that we gave you, that's one. The dollar moved once. Then you
Mhm.
go to a Polynesian store and you buy food. That dollar just flipped again.
Right.
And then you bought the food and then you did your own food sale at your house over the weekend. So that just flipped 3 times. And our goal was, how do we make that dollar move 100 times
Wow.
to stay within our community before
Right.
it goes out of our community?
Right.
How many times can we make that dollar work within our community first before we give it out to a non-Pacific Islander business?
Right.
And so when we started, that was our first thing. How do we gather? How do we support each other, use each other, buy from each other? I mean, this idea is, if you have a business, get something for free. That needs to go away. You
Yeah.
cannot
I mean, you can't be
survive.
profitable. Yeah. I mean, you
No,
can't survive giving
you
away
can't
free
survive.
stuff. Like, yeah,
Right.
that's not
And
possible.
so that idea is, you can give a discount if you can afford it. But
Right.
me, the consumer, I when I go in, it's like a cousin is working there, or that's their business. They're like, "Oh, we'll just give it to you for free." I'm like, no, I don't want you to give this for free to me, because I want you to be here in
Yeah.
5 years. I
Right.
want this to be sustainable. And
Right.
you giving me free things, how about you let me ask you if I need something for free? I don't need it. You better take my money while I got it, right? That's what I
Right.
tell.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we need to learn to first, if we love each other and we want to see each other be sustainable and thrive in this country, when we need to buy at retail value from our own businesses.
Right. Absolutely. You're
You're not going to go
absolutely
to Walmart and ask them, "Oh, can I have this dress for free?"
no. You'll go to
So why
jail.
you go into our businesses with the expectation that you're going to get something for free?
Right. It's the mentality. It's
Yeah,
just the
we
mentality.
have to
It's
change those narrative changes, right?
yeah,
And the only
absolutely.
way we can do that is by setting the example of what we
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. You're right.
We can preach it all you want, but we have to be the example to
Yeah.
see what we want to do. Um, yeah, I'm really passionate about this, because I think in business we could.
Well, Susie, well, let's I don't want to keep you. I know your phone keeps going off. People are trying to get a hold of you. Girl, you are popular. But anyways, I will let you go. I know it's starting to get dark out there. You need to go in. I do want to thank you, Susie, and everyone that's joined me so far. Um, please, if you are interested, join PIK2AR. Follow them on Facebook and all their social media.
And you can
Susie
go to our website, www.pik2ar.org. I'm going to drop my phone number here, and I'm going to, please call me if there's anything that I can do to, connect you to a resource. 801 Feel free to text me anytime. The one thing that I would say is, connection is so important, right? If you know that somebody is needing something, or thinking that this person comes in your mind, the mental health of our community, if you look at the suicide rates with our adults and with our kids, we really need to be kinder to each other and to take that time out to check on each other, right?
right.
We
Hmm.
really don't know what people are going through. and
Right.
and if you get the premonition to make a phone call to a cousin that you haven't talked to forever, or to amend something, let's do it, because we
Right.
can only be as strong. We will be stronger together with our communities. And it's the holistic care, right?
Hmm.
It's the
Right.
holistic care of the whole person
Hmm.
that we really, I want to always remember and work on, is the whole person, the holistic way of how we take care of each other in our
Absolutely. And
village.
yeah, absolutely. And you know what? That just makes brings back memories of how we should be, right? Because it's already in us.
It
It's
is.
in
That
us
is our
already.
natural way.
Right.
And
That's our
people
natural
always
way.
say to me, "Oh, but that's not how we do it. That the Balangi people do." Like, and who said we have to do it that way?
Right.
Like, just do
Right.
it the way you think is right for the people you serve.
Right.
So what if that's the way that you've seen it happen? It doesn't have to be that way. And I say this with domestic violence, and any of our cultural practices that are negative to you and your family, stop doing it.
Right. Stop
Just stop
doing it.
doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that
Right?
is, yeah, it's 100% your choice. You know,
Yes.
You take and you choose what serves you best, and if it doesn't serve you, let it go. You
Yeah,
know,
for sure.
hold on to
Um,
it.
and that's what I say is like you're the one responsible for your family and for your outcomes for your family. And if
Yeah,
culture is stopping you from doing that, then you need to change the culture,
right. You need to
right?
analyze, yeah, analyze what's not working and
Yeah.
change it up. Yeah, because we're all about change and we have to embrace change no matter how hard it is or if we like it or don't like it. Something always comes out good with change, you know?
Well, and our like if you think our wayfinders, our ancestors, right? They would put a whole village on a boat and go to an island and everybody got a job and they flourished
Right.
because we were really good at problem solving. We were
Yeah.
really good. We would make up for things that we didn't have and say like we can do this. That is such our Polynesian strength
Yeah.
is that evolution of always being able to change and accept it. We're so laid back. Okay, yeah. Okay, it's going to
Mhm.
start in 30 minutes. Okay, yeah, that's fine with us. But try to do that in somebody else's culture.
You can't.
Yeah. It's looked at as like, oh, you're rude because you were late for this meeting, right?
Mhm.
And I always say to people when they ask me, can you be on this board? Can you be on this advice? I said like, I can do this, but I'm gonna tell you a couple things. The chances are probably that I'm gonna be late, right? And so if you can accept that, but I'm late because I was on the call with somebody else
Something
that
else.
needed
Right.
something, or I had a family member that I'm going to tell you, my family and my friends and my coworkers are going to come first before this.
Right.
And and so I'm going to go help them. So if you think it's wrong because I'm late because I gave my sister a ride to work, then this isn't the right group for me.
Right.
Understand that about me, that when I'm
Yeah.
here, I'll be committed. But there
Right.
are going to be some times that I'm late. And if you think that's rude, then maybe this isn't the right group for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you know what? Overall, your intentions show, and
Yeah.
what your example and the work that you do speaks for itself. So, you know, that matters. That counts for everything.
I mean, the other thing in our community that I think that crab in the bucket mentality is hurting us, right? I just want everybody to support each other and to be happy for each other.
Right.
That people are doing amazing things, that
Yeah.
they are buying homes, that they're progressing in life. Can we
Hmm.
just be happy for each other?
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? I 100% feel you on that because,
Yeah.
you know, this group is for us. It's not for me to be up here. It's for us and for people to learn and hopefully just embrace change and just try to do better for your family. You know, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
Even if you don't pursue entrepreneur, even if you decide to stay at your job, that's okay too.
Yeah.
But just be happy, right?
And I want to
Just
say
be
is that
happy.
everybody has a fault. Everybody has a secret. Everybody has skeletons in their closet.
Oh,
Why do
100%.
why do people go around and dig up stuff about each other? I mean, I just said to you like I'm an ex-felon, and this is what I wanted to say is that I've probably made every bad mistake in the world, right? And if I can do this, anybody can. I am not special, right? I am no different than anybody else. I always say because I am bipolar and my mental health illness, maybe that's what helps me is that I just don't give up. I don't give up easily.
Yeah.
And whatever that strength is that you have in anybody, you can do it. Right?
Yeah.
Whatever dream that we live in a country that's got every opportunity in the world.
Mhm.
But it's not going to come knock on your door.
Mm-mm.
You got to
Nope.
go out there and find it and work, show up and do
Right.
the work. There is no shortcut to success. None.
None. Yeah.
It's
None.
called four letters work, W
Work.
O R K,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely. 100%. 100%. And I'm so glad you said that because we are pro Polynesian. We are here for our
Yes.
people. We just want
Yes.
our people to thrive. And that's what I want. And so I appreciate you coming on. I super commend you for the work that you do. I mean, it's those services that I appreciate. And I know and I hope that our people can really, you know, change up and seek you out and seek the help, because it is our time.
It
We have,
is.
it is our time, and we really got to do something different for our family. We want to leave a legacy. We want that, and we can have it. It's within our reach. We just need to step out of.
We are our worst enemies.
Yeah, we are
We
worse
are.
than.
We are stopping ourselves from being what we dream to be.
Yes.
I tell people showing up is half of it,
Yeah, half the battle. You got to
right?
do.
Half
You
the
got to
battle
put
is
the
to
work
show
in.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely.
I love our community. And when you said it's our time, and I'm gonna get really emotional here, is I believe that our way can change the way America works. And the reason that we are here in this country is for us to practice our positive Polynesian cultural things like acceptance, love, kindness, empathy, right? Giving
Mhm.
people the out. All of those things, that's what this country needs.
Yeah.
Is more people like us
Hmm.
that
I
love
agree.
and care. And if we could just be us and use our cultural strengths that we have, we can make a difference in this country. We
Oh,
really can.
absolutely. 100%. I believe that completely. There
Yeah.
is no other race, culture, community like us.
Yes.
Us. I mean, our friends that are non Polynesians love us. They know what kind of family we come from. They know that we're caring, that we're chill, that we're funny, that we're so many great qualities. And
Yes.
that's just a people as a whole. That's who we are,
Yep.
you know?
I mean,
So,
people
yeah,
always tell me, our chamber meeting, the chamber meetings, it's the best business meeting I go to all month. We have fun in here, we connect, but we laugh, but
right,
it's very much us. We don't try to do it Palangi style. We
right.
do what fits us,
Hmm.
right? We're going to be professional, probably a little bit more casual, but not so uptight, so that
Right.
everybody feels like they belong.
Yeah.
They have a voice,
Hmm.
right?
Absolutely.
In it. And that is, I think, our Pacific, many of those things are our Pacific Island strengths.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
I always say we don't need to try to be like anybody else.
No,
Let's
we're
just be
good.
like
Yeah,
us.
we're good the
I'm a
way we
proud,
are. Sure.
I am pro Polynesian, and I am happy and proud to be, and I don't have to do things the way that others say. If it fits my community and it's what they need, that's the way we're going to do it.
Right. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. I know we can keep going on and on, but this is the longest interview I've ever done. But
Oh
you're just,
gosh, I could go on and on.
you just have so much positive, good things to share. And I super appreciate you, Susie. And I'm glad that we connected. Um, I'm definitely going to have to stop by when I'm in Utah again and say hi to you and
For
just
sure, for
visit.
sure. And
Just
thank you
visit.
so much for the opportunity, for even asking.
Of course, of course.
And anytime, I'd be happy to come back anytime you'd like me to.
Awesome. Thank you, Susie. Thank you,
You're
anyone who's
welcome.
been on. Please catch Susie. She did drop her information with her phone number, and I'll also post it again. But I do want to say thank you so much. Keep going with our pro Polynesian movement
We're
out
pro
there.
Polynesian.
Yes, thank you. My
You see
new
my
word.
shirt that I'm wearing?
What does it say? Jesus loves
Jesus loves
felons.
felons.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Absolutely. Good for
One of
you.
my friends made the shirt, and I said, I think that's cute. I think I'm going to wear. People always say to me, what are you wearing that shirt for? I go, because it's true.
It's
God
true.
loves felons.
Yeah, God loves sinners. I mean, hey,
Yes,
you know, he,
that's
he,
so
he
true.
yeah, he wasn't with the perfect people. He was with the people in the streets who needed him.
Exactly. Yep.
So, all right. Well, thank you so much,
You're
Susie. I
welcome.
appreciate
Thank you so
you.
much.
Keep going with the hard work. I super appreciate it. I will look out for all and everything you do, because I will hit up one of those grants. That's for sure.
Yes, no, I'll get it out. And if you could distribute it out, we want everybody to know about these grants.
Yes, shoot it to me. I will post it in the group, whatever you have, updates. Yes, we want to get
So
our people
and maybe I
on.
should add you, so every week we send out SBA grants and SBA programs for small businesses. And there's grants and microlending stuff every week that we send out, but I'll add you to our list so you can distribute that as well.
Oh, yes, please do. You got my email, my information. Yes,
Yes.
I will share the heck out of everything that you have
Awesome.
for,
Awesome.
for our
Thank you so
people. So,
much.
all right. Well, you have a good night. God
You
bless you and
too.
everything that you're doing out there in Utah.
Yep.
Good
Talk to you
night.
later.
All right. Bye. Oh my gosh, guys, whoever's on, thank you for just being part of the group and hanging in there. Hopefully you did catch something from Susie and you learned some information just about her Chamber of Commerce. She's like the first Polynesian that I've ever heard of having something like that. So good things, guys, are in the making. Good things are in the works for all of us. Just please reach out if you have any questions. Yeah, reach out because this is what our group is for, just to inspire, to help our community, uplift our families, and just be able to leave a legacy for our future generations, okay? Because that's what it's all about. All of these founding fathers and these billionaires in America, they all have huge families that they are in business with, right? So anyways, thank you once again. If you catch us on a replay, please hashtag replay. If you caught this live, thank you everyone that has posted comments. I appreciate it. Like I said, I can't see your name yet, but I will. Thank you individually like I always do. And like I said, next Thursday and all of July, I will be back on a Facebook Live Thursday, 7:30, going back with just some more trainings for you guys. Now that everything is slowed down, I'll be back on the ball with it again. Okay. So good night to you guys. God bless. And I will catch you again next Thursday. Bye, guys.